Hi, my name is Tia Brown, and I will be your Gizmos guru for today. Let's talk gizmos. Do you ever wonder why it's so windy at the beach? Well, let's find out with the Coastal Winds and Clouds gizmo, where you can learn how to predict convection currents from data like temperature and wind speed. In the gizmo, press play to see a sailboat and clouds move throughout the day. Let's take a look for a minute and make some observations about the weather and wind direction. We can observe the boat and note when it moves toward the land and when it turns and moves toward the sea. There's a clock you can use to record the time of your observations. And if you want to start the day over, you just click reset here. Use the weather instruments in the bottom left corner to add to your observations. I'll select the weather probe and click play. By selecting the probe, we can move it to different locations. Notice that here, the speed is 1.6 miles per hour, the temperature is 34.9 degrees Fahrenheit, and the altitude is 7,516 feet. And when we move the probe, the measurements will change based on what location you put it at. You can record the data in your own table at all these different points. And we can use that data to determine how air temperature will affect wind speed and direction. Now let's reset the gizmo and select drifting balloon. By observing the balloon, we can determine patterns of airflow or convection currents that cause the balloon to float in different directions. And by combining that information with the data you recorded from the weather probe, we can also start to see patterns of weather. Every gizmo has a set of lesson materials to help you plan your lesson. I'm going to share a few tips with you from these materials, and maybe a few of my own as well. Activity A in the student exploration sheet can be used as a pair and share whole class activity. One idea is to have students pair up to complete the chart and then share the data on a whiteboard or smartboard in front of the class. Students can pair up again to analyze, summarize, and draw conclusions, and then share their ideas aloud. Activity B in the student exploration sheet is a great activity to illustrate why and how sea and land breezes form, and what weather and wind conditions occur to make them form. I oftentimes add writing activities by asking my students to explain the formation of land and sea breezes. You can use the vocabulary sheet provided in the lesson materials to give them specific words to use in their explanations. Use the extension activity "When do sea and land breezes form?" found in the user-created lesson material section. This activity can be used to help students apply what they learned in the gizmo by researching a coastal region on the internet and recording data at different times to determine when land and sea breezes occur in that area. If you like this gizmo, continue the fun with the weather maps and hurricane motions gizmos. Thank you for listening in. Bye for now, Gizmos fans.